Good morning, everyone. In today's class, we will be discussing about women in armed forces. This topic I have taken. Uh, the reason being, if you see Saturday's the Hindu newspaper, in one of the editorials, they mentioned about the recent Minister of Defense letter allowing uh, the short selection commission women into the permanent commission. Okay. So before that, we have a Supreme Court judgment, and before that, we have a Delhi High Court order on this. So before discussing all these aspects, first let us try to relate this particular topic to the syllabus. So this we can actually discuss this particular topic under two subtopics. One is with respect to governmental policies. That means governmental policies and interventions for development in various sectors. So in this case here the topic is with respect to women empowerment. So with respect to women empowerment, what kind of initiatives the government has taken up? Here, women empowerment in the context of permanent commission for women in the armed forces. Okay, so it's a positive initiative from the governmental side. So in that context, what are the challenges? So in that way we can discuss. Second topic is here we will be discussing about the role of judiciary and the role of executive. Okay, so there's a conflict here. Who should play the role to provide permanent commission to women? It's the responsibility of the executive, that is the government. But here the Supreme Court is coming and providing directions to the government. So what shall we consider this kind of relationship between the judiciary and the executive? Judiciary directing the executive. So it can violate separation of powers. We have this theory of separation of powers. Legislature, executive, and judiciary. These three are three separate compartments. Okay. So in that context, so in both these aspects, this particular issue can be used. So before going into the details of the issue, first let us try to see some of the pics here. Okay, if you see here, she is Mintri Agarwal. Okay, she is the first woman in the country to get this Yuddha Seva medal. Yuddha Seva medal will be given for male persons, those who are what you call in this combat field. Okay, and she is also the one who is part of this squadron, the one that is guiding this Abhimanyu. Okay, Abhimanyu Vardhaman in this Balakot air strike. Okay, and as she got this particular Yuddha Seva medal, she is the first woman in the country to get this medal. And along with that, if you see, there's these three women. These three are the women fighter pilots, the first three women fighter pilots in the country, in the Indian Air Force. Okay. So these three are the first one, the first three women fighter pilots in the country. Okay. Next is, and we have seen some of the famous business women in the country. And we have here Indra Nooyi, we have here Kiran Majumdar Shah. Okay. So these are some of the women personalities. They are into the business, and we also have the women into the politics. I have just taken some of few pics here. So we have a lot many other women politicians. Okay. So yes, here the issue is with respect to the women. That's the reason I have to take up those issues, those particular pictures also here. Now, if you come back to the topic, so the issue is here with respect to women in the armed forces. Okay, so where the issue started, we just discussed. So this particular information also mentioned in Saturday's editorial, also in the Hindu's Saturday's editorial, last Saturday's editorial. Okay, so it started with so recently Ministry of Defense issued a letter granting permanent commission to women officers. Okay. So previously this permanent commission to women officers, especially in army, okay, previously they have, but only in 2 streams out of the given 10. But now Supreme Court mentioned that in all the 10 streams of army, women should be given permanent commission. Okay, so this is the recent Supreme Court's order with respect to uh, uh, permanent commission for women, with respect to the status of permanent commission for women in India. Okay, so Supreme Court wants all the 10 streams should be allowed for women, like under this permanent commission. Okay. So next year I have taken one statistics here. If you see the number of officers who are serving in army, and among them the number of women, it's very low. So that showcases the gender inequality in the army's top cadre in terms of women's representation. So it means women are representing very low in the army. So for that we have multiple reasons. Previously army means it's only a male force, because only the masculine force can fight. So in that way, the army actually got evolved. So with that reason, it even till date, forces means only the male force. Only the male personalities will participate in that. So it's not a cup of cake for the female personalities. But with increasing years, we started seeing this debate. To what extent the female also can work along with male, especially in these kind of hazardous operations, because force means there will be more of what you call along with mental stress, there will be physical stress also, whether women are capable or not. But in the recent past, across the globe, women has proven that they too can equally fight on par with men. If you take the case of United States and Israel, in these countries we have the women what you call the fighter forces. So along with men, we have the women as the fighter forces. So they are also into the combat roles. But when it comes to India, as of now, we haven't allowed the women, though women are there in the army, but we haven't allowed them into the combat roles. So recently, these 3 women, the 3 Indian Air Force pilots, so they are into this combat, this fighter pilots. So they are the first one. When it comes to army, still we haven't yet allowed our women officers to play these combat roles. Okay. So now, if you come back to the background, so what exactly where the issue actually started? If you see, like the career in the forces. So we have here the 2 kinds of setup. One is the permanent commission. Permanent commission means here till your retirement you will be in the army. Okay. So if you have minimum up to at least minimum 20 years of service in the army, if you have a minimum 20 years of service, then you are eligible for pension. Okay. So under permanent commission, you will be eligible for pension. Okay. As an officer, you can reach up to the top rank. Up to the top rank means here in these forces, we have the Chief of Army Staff. Okay. Air Chief Marshal when it comes to Air Force. Chief of Navy when it comes to the Indian Navy. Okay. So along with this permanent commission, we also have another one, what that is called as the Short Selection Commission. So short selection commission means it's a kind of supporting system to the permanent commission. So that's the idea behind the short selection commission. So the maximum number of years one individual can serve in the short selection commission is 14 years. 10 years with an extension of 4 years. So here, when it comes to short selection commission, if you take the case of men, okay, if they get qualified for the short selection commission, after 10 years, they are eligible for the permanent commission. Remember to this point, men who got appointed through the short selection commission, after 10 years, they can apply for the permanent commission. But this is not the same when it comes to women. So we have allowed short selection commission for women. Okay. But for women SSC, for short selection commission, those who got through the short selection commission, they are not being allowed for the permanent commission. Okay. So this created a kind of issue between this women fraternity in the army and the government. Then eventually they have to file a case in the first in the Delhi High Court. First they will file a public interest litigation. Okay. Eventually Delhi High Court will react, and after that Supreme Court will react. So how they reacted, that we will see. So this is what if you see the screen. So here I have given some basic information that when the thing actually first started. So entry of the women into the forces. Okay. So entry of the women into the forces first started in the year 1992 under the scheme called as WSES, Women Special Entry Scheme. So under this, women can serve in the forces up to 5 years. So here, if you just see the chronology, in which years, like where the issue started, it started in the 1990s. So 1990s means almost like how many years? Around the span of 28 to 30 years. So in the span of 28 to 30 years, how? Okay, women, like women in army and their roles and responsibilities. Okay, at the same time, their position in the army, how it got changed over a period of time. So for that, we should have a chronological understanding. So here, from the next slide, I have given in detail where what kind of decision took place. As I told you here, see the years. The first, 1992, Women Special Entry Scheme, under which up to a period of 5 years, women can serve in the army. And after that, government mentioned like they may extend initially for 5 years, later they may extend. Actually, later the government got extended that. And in the year 2006, this WSES, this Women Special Entry Scheme, was replaced with the Short Selection Commission scheme. Okay, SSC for women. SSC for men we have previously also, but SSC for women started from 2006 onwards. And before that, this one public interest litigation was filed in the year 2003. Public interest litigation was filed. Okay, so by some of the army SSC officers in the Delhi High Court, by arguing that we should be along with men. So why do we need this kind of discrimination? So along with men, we too need permanent commission in the army. So this is what is the public interest litigation that will be filed in the Delhi High Court. Delhi High Court eventually react to that. Later we will be coming to that. So meanwhile, before the Delhi High Court's reaction, Defense Minister of Defense, it passes an order. So it passes an order and mentions like, so slowly, prospectively, we will provide permanent commission to women SSC officers, women staff short selection officers, short service commission officers. But initially, government will provide only 2 services, that too these staff services. These are not any kind of compact or anything, just only the staff service, admin work. So only 2 services will be allowed for women, okay, to go for this permanent commission out of the 10 services. Then after that, the Delhi High Court will react. Delhi High Court will say that no, it shouldn't be like that. Women also should be allowed. Short Selection Commission women officers also should be allowed on par with men, okay, to get permanent commission. This is what the Delhi High Court says. Immediately, government will challenge the Delhi High Court order. Government will challenge this order in the Supreme Court. Okay. Meanwhile, on one side challenging the order, in the year 2018, on the ramparts of this Red Fort, on the eve of independence, 15th of August, Prime Minister announces permanent commissions for all women officers, permanent commissions for women officers in the armed forces. But he announces, but till date, no implementation. Until the Supreme Court reacted in the month of February 2020, no implementation. Prime Minister announced in the year 2018, but they haven't implemented. So, because the government did not implement it, the Supreme Court in the month of February 2020 reacted, and it mentioned like permanent commission for women for these short selection commission women officers should be provided in all the 10 services of army. Previously, they provided in only 2. But now the Supreme Court argued that in all the 10 services, short selection commission women officers should be provided permanent commission. Okay. So this is what is the recent Supreme Court argument. As a reaction to the Supreme Court's argument, central government recently central government passed, it issued a letter. In that letter, they mentioned that they're allowing permanent commission for women in army in all the 10 streams. This is the story. Now, from this story, what you understood? You have to understand 3 things here. One is the Supreme Court, the courts, the judicial system. Second one is the executive. So judiciary and the executive both are fighting on the issue of women. Entry of the women into the armed forces. This is the issue, right? So here, judiciary and executive, how they both fought with each other. Finally, there comes an output. That output right now is actually for the betterment of the women. But who actually here played a crucial role? Every time executive means who is executive here? The government. Every time government trying to convince the judiciary to not provide permanent commission to women by giving different reasons. But eventually what the Supreme Court said? No, we won't accept your reasons. What are the reasons mentioned by the government to the Supreme Court? See the reasons. Government argued that why as of now we could not able to allow permanent commission for women. It mentioned like, see, are these forces, they involves they inherently occupational hazards. Sometimes they need to go for these combat fields and frequent transfers. Okay, so women cannot tackle this kind of situation of an army personnel. A woman officer cannot tackle because women have some inherent challenges like motherhood challenge, child care challenge. They have their physiological limitations like strength. So because of this, women cannot tackle the occupational hazard stress. So that's why we should not allow women into the permanent commission of army. This is the first argument of the government. The second argument provided by the government is that, see, the troops, most of them, they actually comes from the rural background, and especially the officers also. If women is above the hierarchy of these male officers, okay, they might not able to like but they might not able to maintain the relationship appropriately. Okay, so it may create a kind of moral issue for the officers. So that's why women tries to command, they might not be able to cope up with it. So that's why until the change comes, we should not allow women to provide commands to them. So this is the second argument by the government. Third argument, what the government is mentioning here, SSC, what is SSC? Short Selection Commission is a supporting cadre. It's not a permanent cadre. So not required to provide permanent commission to the SSC women officers. Another point it mentioned, it even criticized the judiciary. See, I know what I have to do. So it is the prerogative of the executive. Executive will do what it will do for the women armed of this women officers of the army. Why the judiciary has to intervene? So these are the arguments of the government. So to these arguments, Supreme Court reacted. So Supreme Court reacting to these arguments, it mentioned like, say, first of all, all your arguments are invalid because they are violating Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. Article 14 of the Indian Constitution deals with equality, right to equality. But the arguments that were raised by the government, they are actually violating Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. So that's why your arguments are not valid. Second thing, women should not be discriminated on the basis of their physiology or their motherhood or their physical attributes. Okay. See, if you see in India, though we are saying that women cannot fight these combat roles, majority of the women right now who got posted, they are into these combat roles. Okay. At the same time, they are effectively able to tackle their motherhood and physiology, body related challenges. Okay. So that's the reason then Supreme Court ordered that we won't accept your arguments. You have to go for, you have to provide permanent commission for women. So when Supreme Court provided this direction, it issued an order to the government to provide permanent commission to the women. As a reaction to that, recently, Ministry of Defense issued a formal letter granting permanent commission to women officers in the Indian Army. Okay. So this is the Supreme Court's observation and eventual government's reaction. Now, till this point, the issue is over. Okay. Now, let us try to a bit analyze this issue, like where the repercussions will be. Okay. So this actually strengthens the voice of the women. Suppose, for example, take the case of the recent Supreme Court judgments with respect to the women rights, Sabarimala judgment, okay, temple entry for women, and the triple talaq issue, okay, and the third one is and demanding the government or directing the government to provide permanent commission to women. So in all the three aspects, if somebody asks you like what you understood from this, it is the judiciary, though we can say that it's the judicial activism, it is entering into the domain of the executive, but where the executive could not able to deliver the justice, where the judiciary is coming and providing justice to women. Okay, it can be temple entry, the Sabarimala issue, or it can be the triple talaq issue, or like directing the government to provide permanent commission for women in army. Okay, so in all these issues, the Supreme Court is like it is strengthening the voice of the women, strengthening the voice of the women, those who are fighting for gender equality. Tomorrow, who knows? Supreme Court also directs the government to implement this 33% of reservation, 33% reservation in Lok Sabha and the state legislative assemblies for women. See, we have implemented 33% of reservation for women in panchayats and urban local bodies. So there we have a constitutional guarantee. But whereas in the case of this member of parliament and state legislature, we haven't yet. Still the women participation in the Lok Sabha at the national level is just only 14%, sorry, around 11.4%. It's very much less. If you take the surrounding countries like Nepal, there they have more representation than India. Nepal's representation around more than 30%. India is even less than the global average. Global average is 26%. Okay. So India's average is less than the global average. Okay. So these kind of Supreme Court's directions, okay, it will strengthen the voice of the women. So eventually women also, they can fight against any kind of social prejudices. Because till date we used to think like army, women cannot be in army, but we proved it. Okay, well, the women already proved it. Okay, so in this way, by giving these kind of progressive judgments, what we call these judgments as progressive judgments, these progressive judgments of the Supreme Court, so definitely strengthens the voice of the women. It also allows them to fight against social prejudices. Okay, so these are the repercussions of the Supreme Court's order. Okay, so finally, then what should be the conclusion? Conclusion is very much simple here. See, first of all, here we discussed on two things. One is with respect to gender equality. Okay, so by by taking up these kind of initiatives, so definitely we are strengthening the gender equality. Gender equality is one of the goals of the Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, so gender equality along with poverty, hunger, and education, goal number 4. So gender equality is one of the 17 goals of the Sustainable Development Goals. So under gender equality, this is one initiative. So in conclusion, we can write like these kind of progressive initiatives, it strengthens India's image. So it will allow us to fulfill our Sustainable Development Goals. But here what we have to underline is that here the initiatives are coming from the judiciary, not from the executive. So there is a challenge. This challenge has to be rectified. Executive, until rather than waiting for the judiciary to speak out, okay, they on their own, if they start coming up with progressive legislations, okay, so that eventually creates gender equality. So along with the government, the citizens also should start practicing gender equality. Okay, there shouldn't be any kind of prejudicial thinking when it comes to women. Okay, so in that way, eventually we can empower the women. Eventually, we can empower the country. Understood? So this is the topic. So in GS paper 2, this particular topic can be used. Okay, so with that note, I am ending the topic. Thank you.